Okay. Okay. Thank you all for joining the session. So, on behalf of CAPPM, so we are Center for Advanced Practical Project Management. So we welcome you for this presentation. So this topic for today is accelerate your agile career. And so the presenter today, the speaker today is Dr. Srinivasan, who is a PhD holder, and he's working with Accenture Federal Services as program manager cum executive coach. And he's also adjunct faculty in St. Mary's University in Texas. So he has nearly 25 years of experience, out of which 18 years in project management, 15 years in process improvement, 15 years in business analysis and IT management. And he has got various different certifications in scaled agile, PMIs, PMP, PFMP, and also a black belt holder. Okay, so the quality management black belt. So without further delay, so I'll hand over session to Srinivasan. Yeah.
Thanks, Shaju. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the geographical location you are. And I would like to extend my thanks and gratitude to Shaju for giving me an opportunity to talk in a series like this. And this is the second in this series. And Shaju gave enough introduction about myself, so I'm not going to go into my qualifications and all that. So let's go straight into the topic. The topic today is accelerate your agile career. And so even before going into the topic, I always read almost on a daily basis the quote that you see here. Success is built on competence, and competence requires experience. And there is no way around it. There is no shortcut to experience. Experience is something that you have to gain, good or bad, failure or success. That is an experience for you, and that comes handy for you. That is a stepping stone for you to move further. So anything that you gain as part of your role, your responsibility, your job description that you're doing is experience. And you have to sift it, sort it out, take the good ones, and improve yourself. And that is how you become you develop that competitive advantage over others, and that manifests as competence. And your further success is built on competence. So how is that relevant to agile? Okay, agile is an evolving methodology, or rather a framework. Okay, and many companies have onboarded onto this bandwagon called agile. Okay, knowingly or unknowingly, everybody wants to get into agile. Okay, agile is nothing but a shorter feedback cycle based project management. Okay, it is nothing more than that. It is a focused, very tailored, shorter feedback cycles. It's a way of working. Okay, it is a way of managing tasks. It is a way of showing visibility to your work. It is a way of showing collaboration to your work. So basically, agile is nothing but the ways of working in short cycles. That's all it is. Now, there are a lot of careers associated with agile, and in my opinion, agile is going to be there for another 10 to 15 years. Okay, until something else will come. Okay, so is traditional project management, a program portfolio management dead? I don't think so. That is still going to be there. And many bigger enterprises still require project management, program management, portfolio management, and all that. Now, what is the need for this agile at this time? The need for agile is, number one, everybody wants speed to market. Everybody wants to innovate product. Everybody wants to cut costs. Everybody wants higher productivity, higher efficiency. Everybody wants more and more newer technologies to be incorporated into their workplace. Okay, everybody wants faster and quicker learning that could contribute to industrial learning or institutional learning, for that matter. So agile gets a lot of relevance because of all that. Okay, now, is every project suitable for agile? I don't think so. There are some cookie cutter projects, something that you do over and over again. You don't need to do it in Agile. You can do it in traditional project management and gain the same efficiencies as you get in Agile. Now, bigger projects, newer services, products, all of these might require Agile. Okay, so with the introduction of different Agile methodologies, not just one Agile methodology, there are several Agile methodologies out there, and Scrum is the most commonly used one. And then there is something called Kanban, there is something called Extreme Programming, there is something called Lean, XP, and there is something called Scaled Agile now, which is scaling of Agile in a bigger enterprise. So all of these different Agile methodologies come with their own pros and cons, come with their own career options. Okay. So with that being said, I'm not going to explain what each Agile methodology is and all that. So that is not the relevance of the topic here. So what is in it for me? Okay, so what are you trying to get out of this session? Okay, I'm going to talk some key topics here. Okay, number one, why an Agile career? Okay, if you're a traditional project manager or if you are contemplating about getting into an Agile career, why an Agile career? Okay, then we will talk about how can you add value to your role in an Agile role. Okay, then what is the natural career progression in Agile? Okay, how can you accelerate your career? Okay, which is the core topic that for today. Okay, what certifications are relevant? So I will talk about these things first. Okay, one, why an Agile career? Okay, a lot of companies, especially in the IT industry, and some non-IT also in pharmaceutical industries and healthcare and all that I see often, even in the defense sector, and all these places, I'm seeing a lot of Agile methodologies being adopted. Okay, traditional project management is still there as a wrapper, but still people are doing Agile in smaller teams to get their desired outcomes. So Agile is going to be there, as I mentioned, it is going to be there for another 10 to 15 years. So an Agile career will definitely make sense. So they require a lot of Scrum Masters, product owners, lean project managers, and there are umpteen number of roles in scaled Agile too, like release train engineer, solution train engineer. So all of these. So with that, the more the roles are out there, more they require people with expertise, not only the process expertise of Agile, but also experience from different functional areas, experience from different technological areas that did Agile. Okay, now does everyone require success? Yes, obviously everybody requires a person with experience, with the success experience. But in reality, in my personal experience, half of my projects have not been successful. Okay, and I can attribute that to so many different reasons for why it was not successful. But anyways, it contributes to my experience. So good or bad, okay, Agile experience is actually going to catapult or take your career to the next level, no doubt about it. And there are so many roles out there. There are from junior roles, like a junior Scrum Master, through solution manager or solution train engineer or something like that. So there are roles at every level, at every career level, from entry level junior through experienced, seasoned, professionals. So Agile is going to be there. The salaries are good as far as as far as I know, and as far as the market dictates. The salary structure is pretty good. It is in fact more than a traditional project manager, I would say. Okay, so that is the reason why if you are contemplating about getting into an Agile career, this is the time. Okay, how can you add value to your Agile role? First off, whatever Agile role that you are in, whether it is a Scrum Master's role or a product owner's role or a release train engineer's role or a lean engineer's role, whatever that is, whatever Agile role that you are in, first off, try to understand the roles and responsibilities and the job description that you are hired for. Okay, not every Scrum Master's role in every organization is the same. There are huge differences. Okay, I work for a big consulting company, and we go and consult with the different clients, and multiple clients visualize or see these roles in different settings, different contexts. Okay, it can be a scrum master, but a scrum master in a payroll implementation is different from a scrum master in something that is highly innovative. Okay, so first understand the roles and responsibilities. Okay, now you have to move away from the traditional mindset of, okay, these are the agile ceremonies that I'm responsible for, and I will be only doing those ceremonies. If you think like that, your career is not going to progress, because running a ceremony can be done by any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay, you don't need a specific experience. Okay, most of these agile trainings happen over a period of 2 days. Okay, with just 2 days of training, you're not going to become an expert. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, just by the book knowledge, or just by attending 2 days of training, and just by knowing some agile ceremonies, you are not going to make the cut. Okay, you have to understand there is something beyond that, beyond the running ceremonies, beyond knowing just the simple agile protocols. Okay, now then what else is involved? So you have to move away from the mindset of this glorified administrative assistant doing these agile ceremonies, following up, sending emails, and all that. You have to move away from that, and you have to try to understand the functional aspects of your project, the technical aspects of your project. If you are managing defects, then know more about testing and defects and how the defects are resolved. If you are into design, try to understand the design thinking aspects of it. If you are managing certain tasks that are related to DevOps, try to understand the CI/CD tools. Try to understand what tools are being used in succession, in series, in different areas, in different business areas. Along the way, try to understand the functional aspects of it as well. So the more that you add to your belt, the more feathers that you add to your cap, is what is going to add value to your role. Because if you are just going to stick on with the agile ceremonies or with the agile protocol, that is not going to take you a long way. Okay, so that is adding value to your role. Then what is the career progression in agile? In any role that you are in, if you are in a junior role, there is always a progression available. If you are in a senior role, there is always a progression available. First off, you have to chart out a roadmap for you. Okay, a kind of like a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year roadmap for your career progression. What is that you want to do next? Okay, what are the certifications that are available? Who is going to provide the certifications? What backup roles that you can do? And you have to start thinking in terms of accelerating your career or progressing your career to the next level. Okay, so if you are content with what you are doing right now, and that will become obsolete in this fast-paced world, it will be obsolete in 6 months to a year. Okay, then there will be more and more newer generation, younger people coming in that will take up your role, which will make you obsolete. Okay, so always think in terms of your career progression. If you're a scrum master, think in terms of what is that you can do for scrum of scrums. If you're in scaled agile, think in terms of do the release train engineer. If you're a release train engineer, think in terms of a solution train engineer. If you're a solution train engineer, think in terms of how you can get into the epics management, or how you can get into solution architecture. So think the next level. Now, there is always this dilemma of, okay, I'm not given that opportunity, or I don't have exposure to that next level. What do I do? Now, here is the thing. First off, understand the job description of your next level. Okay. So you need not have an exposure to that, but try to get the job description of your next level. Okay. And try to see how you can contribute. Okay. Even in your spare time. Okay. Lunch and learn, or go and visit some other team and try to volunteer for things. So the more you try to expand your network away from your comfort zone, obviously you're going to get some career progression. That is how I did my career progress like that. because I was in a smaller role, trying to advance myself in Agile. This was like 15 years ago when Agile was 12 years ago, when Agile was becoming new. Okay, and everybody was happy with the Scrum Master's role, and I wanted to move to the next level. So that is how I volunteered for things which was totally different and totally away from what I was doing. And the more that I showcased myself, the more I went for road shows, conferences, and all that. I expanded my network, and that is how I was able to progress my career. So that is an advice. How can you accelerate your career or speed up or expedite your career? First off, look at the timelines of your project, timeline of your business unit. Look at the schedules, look at the budgets that you all have gotten, look at your career timeline, and look at the relevance of your role first. Okay, until how long is your role going to be relevant? Okay. Sometimes what happens is your role might be relevant only as long as the project is there. Once the project is done, then your role becomes irrelevant. Okay, then you will be forced to accept some other role which you may like or which you may not like. Then at the last minute, then you would be scrambling to find a similar role, or you would end up taking a role that you may not even like. Okay, so think in terms of relevance of your role. Okay, how far that role is going to be relevant, how can I take it to the next level? Okay, that is how you have to accelerate your career. Now, then the next one, this is a key one. What certifications are relevant for you? Okay, any role that you're doing, make sure that you get a certification in that role. Whether the company pays or you pay out of your own pocket, get a certification. Because if there are two people competing for a role or competing for a position, and one person has the certification and the other person doesn't have the certification, it makes a huge difference. Okay, and moreover, it is a good addition to your resume. Okay, now with the certification these days comes is renewals. Okay, some certifications, PMI certifications, are every 3-year renewals. Scaled Agile certifications are every year renewals. There are some certifications that are like every 2-year renewals. So make sure that you are on top of your renewal and you get your enough PDUs or CEUs. Okay, CEUs are continuous education units, or professional PDUs are professional development units. Okay, depending on which terminologies the certification entities use, PDUs or CEUs. Make sure that you are getting those. Now, that is a way that you are forcing yourself to get the PDUs to maintain the certifications. Okay, when you are in one certification, always think about the next certification that you can do in the same stream or in a different stream that can accommodate you to the next career level. Okay, fortunately for me, my company was paying for all the certifications that I did. But lately, because I'm not in some relevant roles, that is what I'm talking about, the relevance here. Because I'm not in the relevant role, my company is not paying for renewals. So, at some point, if you're not relevant to a role and you have so many certifications, then you end up paying out of your own pocket. Okay, but you're using it or not, as long as you can keep your certifications active by taking PDUs, that will be good for you in your job search, or God forbid something happens to your job, then these certifications are going to come in handy. They're going to come and help you. Okay, so certifications is a key thing, especially in this agile space. Okay, agile, DevOps, design thinking, in this space, anything new that is coming, because every company wants to ascertain, or they want to make sure that you are technically sound, or you are, from a process perspective, you are sound enough to have a certification. Okay, because for newer technologies or newer processes, you cannot ask for 10 or 15 years of experience, so they can ask only for certifications. Okay, now let me go into some of the agile roles that are out there. Okay, there are methodology based roles. As I mentioned, there is an agile scrum methodology, which is a commonly used methodology. The main purpose is to improve communication, team, and teamwork, and the speed of development. Okay, and there are many pros and cons to it. The pros outweigh the cons for the Scrum methodology. It is a small team structure, high visibility, higher collaboration, uh, faster feedback cycles, and all that. And there are two key roles that are associated with the Scrum Master and the Product Owner. The Product Owner's role is heavily involved in managing the product backlog or the scope of the work. The Scrum Master's role is mostly about managing the work or managing the tasks or managing the dependencies, managing the risks, managing the issues, managing the assumptions. So depending on which role that you're going to go, make sure that you understand the role. Okay. In some clients or some companies, the product owner's role is just be a liaison between the business and the technical people. Okay. In some companies, the product owners have the entire power in that company. Okay. So first off, you understand, depending on your functional knowledge, your technical knowledge, where you want to land. Okay. If you want to be a product owner and you end up as a scrum master, that may not fit well for you. Okay. The scrum master's job, as I mentioned before, don't just be content with running the scrum ceremonies. Okay. Go beyond that. Be a defect manager, be a risk manager, be a dependency manager. Do a little bit more than what the scrum prescribes. Okay. That way, that will help you gain more knowledge and be ahead of the curve in compared to others. Okay. The other agile methodology is lean. Lean actually comes from these Japanese automobile manufacturers. Lean is all about reducing waste, eliminating variations, and removing the overload of the the system capacity. Okay. The key role in lean is lean PM. Okay. The lean PM's role is to manage efficiency, to ensure that the work is flowing. Okay. And there is no waste involved. Okay. So these lean project managers, their core skills, if you look at it, is they find efficiencies in every single place. Uh, they in their eyes, they see everything as a value stream. Okay, what is the value that is flowing across the stream? Where is the idle time? What is being wasted? So their focus is mainly on waste reduction. Okay, and eliminating variations. Now that is a totally different skill set, and moreover, it is an engineering mindset as well. So I have been in this lean PM role for quite some time, but that demands you to go into a lot of quality tools and analyzing a lot of data. So if you're not data savvy, if you're not tech savvy, then this lean PM role is not for you. Okay, it is not managing ceremonies. It is not sending emails. It is not just the follow up. So lean PM's role is much more engineering oriented, quality oriented than a product owner or a scrum master. Okay. Then there is another agile methodology called extreme programming. Okay. And in extreme programming, the focus is more on pair programming. Two people will sit and program. Okay. One person is called the navigator and the other person is the actual doer. So the key role in extreme programming is an XP coach. Okay, the coach is responsible for overseeing the work, overseeing the pair that is working, ensuring the project stays on track, and improving process, training people, and coaching, teaching about testing-driven development, behavior-driven development, and all that. So in my experience, I have never been an XP coach, but I have seen people coming from the testing background to be better XP coaches, because this is more test-driven, behavior-driven development in extreme programming. Okay, and I have seen some companies or some enterprises having integrator roles, which is a very higher level role. You can equate that to a portfolio or a program manager. These integrators are responsible for larger projects. Okay, or multiple projects happening at the same time, which is equivalent to a program with the multiple separate teams and sections, and therefore for integrating these different aspects into a cohesive whole. So when we talk about integration, right, when we talk about multiple teams managing multiple teams at the same time, then we're talking about dependency management. We're talking about risk management. We're talking about quality management. We are talking about schedule management. We are talking about so many things that come in play while we are integrating the teams, while we are integrating the work of the teams. Okay, this agile team role, this integrator role, is usually only needed in larger teams. Okay, developing complex systems. Okay? Multiple teams are developing subsystems, and then you're trying to put together a complex system. Then this integrator's role is overseeing all of this. Okay, now in my company, this integrator role is always taken by some senior director, and then this is a team. There is a team for integration, and they are the ones who keep track of the things that are happening for a successful deployment. Okay. Now, is that an agile career? Yes, obviously, integrator is an agile career. Okay, because multiple agile teams are working towards creating a complex system, and this integrator is usually promoted from a scrum master, from a product owner onto something else. Okay, and then they become an integrator. Okay, the other methodology that is commonly used for ticket-based systems, for maintenance, for operation support, for migrations, for transformations, all of that, Kanban is a preferred methodology that is used as an agile methodology. Okay, Kanban's emphasis is more on flexibility and the rate of return on deliverables. Okay, the you can visualize the workflow. It is kind of like a air traffic controller's view of the whole set of airplanes that are traveling in the airspace at any point of time within a specific area. So you can visualize the workflow. Okay, you can limit the work in progress so that there is focus on specific tasks or work items, and you constantly measure the lead time. Okay, and you analyze why certain things are taking more lead time than the other. Okay, and then you make process policies explicit. Okay, when you make the process policies explicit, then you can know that, okay, what is going as an outlier, what is going above and beyond the guidelines. Okay, so you're kind of putting together some guidance, some guardrails, and then you see what goes above or below it, and then you make corrections. Okay, and you continually evaluate these improvement opportunities that manifest while you're working in a Kanban approach. Now, the most common Kanban that we all see, but we don't usually recognize or we don't pay attention to, is a subway system, right? If you go to a subway sub shop, you can see how things flow. The same thing, you can go to Starbucks and you can see how the work flows. Okay, so Kanban is visualization of your workflow. Now, what are the roles that are available for Kanban? Okay, the agile roles that are available for Kanban, in some companies they call a flow manager or a flow master or a service delivery manager. The key responsibilities, as I mentioned, is to ensure the smooth flow of work. Wherever there is bottleneck, it is the flow manager's or the flow master's job to remove the bottleneck. Okay, there is this methodology or a framework called the theory of constraints. Okay, if you have read the book called The Goal by Goldratt, okay, it talks all about flow. Okay, what is flow? What is a bottleneck? And the key principle there is a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. Okay, so you first focus on the weakest link, and then you remove that weakest link. You make that you strengthen it. You make it strong. Then you focus on the next weakest link, make it strong. Then you focus on the next weakest link. So you are actually going to look at the bottlenecks, remove the bottlenecks, and you ensure that there is a smooth flow of work. Okay, so that is the flow manager's job. Okay, then there is another role called service request manager. Okay, now this role helps align uh, the work items from the backlog and facilitate the prioritization. Okay, so in the Scrum methodology, the prioritization of work is done by the product owner. In the Kanban methodology, it is done by the service request manager. Okay, they own the policies for the system. They improve corporate governance, and they are the ones who ensure that the process is consistent. Okay, They reduce the risks for individual teams, or for the individuals on the team. So that's all the service request manager's job. Okay, so this person is going to facilitate the flow of work. This person is going to act as a risk manager. This person has a predefined set of criteria around what value to rank the work items by priority. So basically, in a Scrum methodology, if the product owner is the key owner of a product backlog and that person prioritizes everything, in Kanban, it is the service request manager's job to prioritize the work, keep the backlog, ensure that there are no bottlenecks, and also work with the flow master. Okay. Now, how often do you see these roles posted? Not very many roles that you could see in Kanban, but there are some major companies that I have seen, in Kanban, but they couldn't find, roles like a service request manager or a service delivery manager. So what they do is they actually, repurpose some of the existing Scrum methodology resources. Okay. Okay. Now, Scaled Agile came out with the newest safe, version called the Safe 6.0. It came out the early part of March, and I kind of got recertified only like day before yesterday on this. So they evolved from Safe 1.0 through, the last version was 5.1, which many companies were using. Now they have come out with Safe 6.0, and what I want to show here is onto the left. Okay, under the Safe 6.0, you can see a bunch of roles. You can see epic owners, you can see enterprise architect, you can see an STE or a solution train engineer, you can see an RTE or a release train engineer, you can see a scrum master, a team coach. You can see multiple roles in Scaled Agile. Okay. Since Scaled Agile is a market leader now for agile methodologies, okay, and many companies have jumped onto this bandwagon of scaling their agile practices. Okay, they need these tailored roles. Okay, I come across RTE, STE roles like a dozen a month. Okay, now the problem there is people do not understand the role. Okay, sometimes the job description is like very sketchy, very fuzzy, hazy, that they put everything under the sun to be the job description of an RTE. Okay, you're not going to get anything like that. But the bottom line is there are roles out there for RTEs, there are roles out there for STEs, and if you have some experience, you need not be a fully experienced guy in it. If you are a fully experienced in it, or if you have gone through one release train implementation, or one scaling up of agile, then it is good, then you become highly marketable. But at least if you have some experience, or you have been a backup RTE or a backup STE, and you have done this thing, okay, at least once, okay, then obviously there is a high chance of you getting into this role. Okay, these are the roles that I was talking about before. There are epic owners who manage the epics at a very high level. These are the strategy owners. There are enterprise level architects. Now, when you see enterprise level architects, don't think this is all about technical architects. These are the enterprise level architects. They strategize things, they solution things. So they're at a very high level. They may know what each technology is used for and each tool is used for, but they may not be well versed in every single technology or tool out there. Okay, and these enterprise architects, their role is mainly to help the epic owners prioritize and architect a solution at a very high level. Okay, then there are the solution train engineers, which are pretty much like your portfolio managers in your PMI. Okay, then there are these release train engineers. Release train engineers are like your program managers in your PMI. And then there are the scrum masters. So scrum masters are loosely, they can be aligned to project managers. Okay, then there is a system architect, product owner role. These are the common agile roles that are available. Now, You need not, skip around or jump between these roles. You go into one role, make sure which way you want to go, whether you want to go into product management route, or you want to go into the architecture route, or you want to still be in the project program portfolio management. Then you go from scrum master to release train engineer to solution train engineer. If you want to be in the product management area, you become a product owner, then you move on to product management, then you become an epic owner. Okay. If you want to be in the architecture, you are tech savvy, you want to know the DevOps tools, you want to know the technological, the tech stack that are being used in the project. Then you go into the, system architect, solution architect, enterprise architect, you take that route. So there are multiple routes that you can take for your agile career progression. Okay. Now this is the last slide that I have. Now, the DevOps, I was talking about a forward or backward integration of your role, right? So let's say that okay, I'm a Scrum Master now. I want to accelerate or expedite my career. What do I do? Okay. Now, you can do certain backward integration and you can do certain forward integration. The backward integration is, you can learn design thinking. Okay. The forward integration is you can know DevOps, okay, CI/CD tools. Okay, so this is just an example. You can go into Google, OpenNet, and then find the various tools that are out there. And almost every day, some companies coming out with a plug and play tool out there for your DevOps. Okay, so this is just to show uh, there are multiple tools out there, just to know what each tool is doing. Okay, you don't need to be hands-on, expert in every tool, and that is earthly impossible to become an expert in every tool out there. But at least you can know what does Selenium do. Okay, it is an automated testing tool. What does Maven do? Okay, it is an automated build tool. What does Confluence and Jira do? They are for managing the work progress, coding progress. Okay, Git is a repository, a code repository. Okay, Jenkins is for automated release, automated deployment. You have Docker. Okay, so these things, if you know what each tool does at a very high level, okay, and then depending on your need, depending on your circumstances, depending on your career progression, what you want, then you can go a little bit deeper into, the workings of or the features and the functionalities that are available in each tool, and then slowly you can take that tool up. Okay, so the backward integration is all about knowing some quality tools, some sort of design thinking, because agile by itself is not standalone anymore. Okay, just by saying that okay, I can run some agile ceremonies is not going to make the cut any longer. You have to know some backward stuff, some forward stuff. The forward stuff is all about newer tools. I wouldn't call any of these tools that you see here as technologies, but these are all tools. Okay, and any tool that is going to be there, you know 6 months from now, some other new tool will come in and take over these existing tools, or some company will come and acquire these, and then they will make it better. So the bottom line is, know the tools, know what is being used. Okay, DevOps is the natural progression for a Scrum Master to know what is out there. Okay, so bottom line, in order for you to accelerate, expedite, or speed up your agile career, okay, you have to be on a constant learning path. There is no shortcut to it. How quickly you learn, and how much of a network that you are creating in the agile space is what is going to take you to the next level. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to open the floor for questions.
Thank you, Srini. So great presentation. And the career path, explaining the career path also. So till now there is no questions. So if anyone is having any question, just you can unmute and you can ask your question, or you can, if you are not comfortable in asking, you can raise it in the Q&A section. So we can ask on behalf of you. Okay, I have a question. So based on some of the areas that you touched. So one thing is that functional resources. So functional resources, whether they can take up the agile career. So in most of the cases, there is an assumption or something that only the technical people can take up the agile career. So what are the best career path that the functional resources can take up in
The,
agile?
the, yeah, the functional resources, the basic agile trainings, anyone can take it. Okay. Even I asked my school going daughter to take an agile training. Okay. Just for the exposure of what is happening in the industry. Okay. Now anybody can take it. Now, how far they want to practice it, put it to use in a technical environment is a bigger question, right? Functional resources are not comfortable talking technically. Okay, so the best way for them to do is become a product owner. Okay, support the project from a functional perspective. Okay, along the way, while they interact with the developers and the testers, they get to know the technology. If they are tech savvy, then they will pick it up. If they are not, then they can move from a product owner to a senior product owner. They can move on the functional side. Okay, now I have seen specific expertise like banking skills, insurance skills, defense skills. Okay, they don't want to come to technology. They really want to stay in their functional area. Okay, which is a niche area for them. So what they do is they understand the agile ways of working, but at the same time they don't want to get overly involved in automated testing, overly involved in CI/CD, or anything of that nature. Okay, so basically they are kind of cordoning themselves off for just functional roles. Okay, the training can be open to anyone. They can take any training. Okay, only very few people come from functional side to technical side, in my personal experience and opinion.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? So then I'll continue with the question. So let others think of the question and come. So in certain cases, the waterfall, they will be following a traditional method or the predictive method. So uh, there the program managers will be there. So whether the program managers can directly change the role as RTE, or they have to come through as a scrum master and then they have to move it. So in the same way, so if there are portfolio managers, can they take up the role as a solution train engineer, or they have to, otherwise, whether they have to go from the lower level and then take up the solution train engineer. So how the transition they can um, take it forward.
Yeah, this is one area where people are having a lot of heartburn. Okay, the reason is the traditional project managers, program managers, and portfolio managers, they are funded, and their mindset and the way they work are totally different. Okay, the way they work, or their focus points are mainly budgeting, forecasting, scheduling. Okay, that is all they care. Okay, and in some instances they care about the scope too. Okay, that's all they care. The traditional CTQS, so cost, T for time of schedule, Q for sometimes for quality, and S for scope. Okay, that's all they care. But when they come to a scrum master, or an RTE, or a solution train engineer, there is high level of stress involved, because you are on a very strict timeline to deliver. Okay, you are managing a lot of dependencies. You are managing, you are running high level, agile ceremonies with a higher visibility. Okay, the traditional project program portfolio managers, they have certain templates. They follow the template. They send these emails, and that's it. The job is pretty much based off of set principles, set things, right? But when it comes to RTE, okay, I have seen RTEs running release planning, okay, or the PI planning with 400 people in a conference room. Okay, I have seen these solution trained engineers, running sessions with C-suite people. Okay, like a week of C-suite, interactions and stuff. Okay, so it is highly stressful. It's a totally different mindset. Okay, now can these people port over to the new roles? Yes, obviously, because my traditional role was a program manager. Then I did a scrum master's role because that one was available for me. Then I did an RTE training and I became an RTE. Then I was a solution trained engineer for quite some time. Then my company said, okay, enough. Obviously my project ended. Then I came back as a solution architect, so yes, you can become, but the thing is, you have to go through the training, and you should be open for the different mindset in operation. Not many people can succeed in a high visibility, fast paced environment. Okay, again, that depends on the client, that depends on the company culture. A lot of change management things are involved in it. Okay, there are some companies that are very relaxed, in the sense that whatever that they have been doing in a traditional project management way, just they changed it to agile, and only the nomenclature, the naming changed. Pretty much the ways of working remained the same. Okay, the scope document is here, it is called a product backlog. The emails that they were sending is put in Confluence. Okay, the metrics that they have been using, they are using metrics from Jira. Nothing much changed. Okay, but there are some companies that actually put you through a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, as to delivery timelines, or budgetary constraints, or dependencies. Like I was in a project where they were sending satellites, and there was a lot of coordination to be done with this space launching rockets and stuff. So there's a lot of dependencies that needed to be done, and then there is electronics involved, there is defense systems involved, there are multiple contractors involved, so multiple people were involved. Development was done by one vendor, testing was done by another vendor, deployment was done by another vendor, environment was maintained by another vendor. So different entities have to be tamed, and it was kind of like herding a bunch of cats, right? So the newer role, how far people are comfortable taking up the newer role, that depends on a lot of factors. But are these people trainable, and are they you know are they suited? Oh, definitely yes.
Yep, there are no questions. So, okay, then I'll go ahead with the other question. So, while seeing now, in some jobs, they are looking for both mm, agile as well as waterfall exposure or experience. So keeping this in mind, so if you see some of the freshers or 1 or 2 years experienced, so they were directly put into some agile projects. So in certain cases, when we interview, so even I have experienced it for certain positions. Um, so they were not exposed to waterfall or what it is. So in that particular case, so what is your suggestion uh, for those candidates?
Okay, so everybody should know the SDLC lifecycle. Okay, the plan, analyze, build, test, deploy. They have to know. Okay, there is no other way. Okay, whether you do miniature waterfalls or you do a full-fledged agile, that's a different story. Okay, the foundational waterfall, the SDLC lifecycle, everyone should know. Okay, now is waterfall going to die, or it's going to be wiped out? No, waterfall will never ever die. It is going to be there. Okay, because there are systems, there are entities that are deeply soaked, embedded in waterfall, that they cannot move out of waterfall. Okay, and waterfall is a age old system or a protocol or whatever that you call. Okay, this is coming from World War One. Okay, so you know, the militaries have won wars using waterfall methodology. Okay, so waterfall is never going to die. It is going to be there in some shape or form. Now, the agile methodology on the other side, right? How many companies are using agile in the true spirit of agile? Okay, many companies are using agile just for the sake of it. Many companies, okay? Because some C-suite person might have attended a conference and heard some some verbiages about agile, and he wanted to implement agile. Okay, I have been in projects where the entire company is in waterfall, but the project is in agile. Okay, for example, one of my previous clients, okay, their product owners had a day job. Okay, when they come in for like twice a week, they wear the product owner's hat. Okay, they reported the metrics in traditional project management, but the ways of working was in agile. Okay, now, so agile fits in certain places. Agile has its own benefits, but agile is not a magic bullet for fixing all your inherent issues. Okay, now for freshers, they have to know the traditional waterfall, they have to know agile. Okay, so many times what happens is, you know, even in my company, in the new joiner orientation, we are giving them agile training. Okay, they don't know what waterfall is. Okay, but we tell them, okay, so these are the the ways of working. This was our delivery methodology before in waterfall, and we still have waterfall projects. Okay, these are the agile projects. Now we cannot guarantee that every company or every project will be agile. Okay, there are some projects that are really good only in waterfall. They will fail in agile.
Okay, good. So it's a very good explanation. So that says, so your company is training on agile as well as they are also training on waterfall. So this, so even for freshers or whoever is new, they are onboarding. So they should give a basic understanding of what is a waterfall, what is an agile, and even how the hybrid environment is working. Okay. Anyone, any other questions? Okay, so I'll share.
I'll try a
Yeah,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
So Srini, thanks for all the excellent information. So I was actually wondering, is there a way? So I'm now a solution train engineer or any role, right? Any agile role, where I want to show that doing this project or capability or feature in saved X amount of money, or is there a way to compare the same effort in a waterfall so I can show agile was better in these metrics? Has that ever is there
Yeah.
any way to do that?
Yeah, so it's actually comparing apples and oranges, right? There are templates that you can compare and contrast, and you can say, because the metrics are totally different, right? Now you can compare outcomes. Okay, outcome from a project, traditional project management waterfall method, and outcome from a scaled agile method, right? So why are you going for agile is a bigger question, right? Many companies go for agile because they want high visibility, they want quicker things to the market. Okay, now in traditional waterfall, unless you reorganize your team, unless you buy certain tools, unless you micromanage, okay, in traditional waterfall you are not going to achieve the same outcomes as you are achieving in agile. Okay, now in my company, the agile teams are actually expensive compared to your traditional waterfall, because for every 7 to 10 people you need a scrum master. Okay, then you have to, so there is quite a bit of overhead in agile. Obviously it is going to be like 20 to 30% more. Now, is that 20 to 30% more justifiable? Now, if the speed to market, okay, or the product is highly innovative product, and it is a one-time capital expenditure, then yes, okay, there are justification and rationale that you can put for it. But let's say that your project is not that urgent, okay, and it has been done many times over and over again, okay, and people know what to do. It is a cookie cutter approach. Why would you need to go in agile? You can still do it in waterfall, right? So based off of the outcomes, you can put the metrics and the cost. So there are two types of or three types of rather three types of costs associated with it. One is pure labor, okay, that is the total number of hours required for the skill set for executing certain job, okay, or certain work efforts, that is labor. And then there are these tools and subscriptions and whatnot, okay, other direct costs, okay. And then there is this cost of opportunity, okay, opportunity costs, okay. The opportunity cost is something that we put a lot, because the lost opportunity or the missed opportunity because of certain things happening late, okay, that will add up in the traditional project management if the project is highly urgent, okay, and there are dependencies that that are waiting for your project's outcome to be taken up, okay. So yes, you can compare, but again, it will not be a one-to-one comparison.
Got it. Yeah, that was a good detailed answer. Thanks. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for everyone for joining. So I'll quickly go through what we do. So we are mainly into consulting, training, and placement services. So regarding agiles, if you need any of the agile transformation, agile trainings, basic as well as advanced training, so you can reach us. And so we have two solutions. So using for the enterprise agile implementation. So with the tool of Aptio target process and Aptio 1, and also we do a solution with the Microsoft Project Online plus Shared DevOps and with various other reports. Okay. And the next, our upcoming webinar, the next one is coming in next week. That is March 31 for India and March 30 for US locations. So if you already registered, please ignore. Otherwise, you can forward to your friends and a colleague. So we'll also share the recording as well as the PDF which Srinivasan explained. Okay, so in one day or something you will get it. So thank you, Srini, and thank you all for joining. So
Thanks,
see
everyone.
you back next time. And if you have any questions, also you can post in the reachus@cappmpl.com. So we'll be giving back your reply. Thank you so much, and have a nice day and a nice evening to everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.